Today we'll be heading into the Desolation Wilderness. We are starting at the Bayview trailhead in Tahoe, and we'll be heading to Velma Lakes and Fontanillis Lake. We'll start with a fairly good uphill climb, about 2 miles, 2,300 feet, I think is what we're going to be going up. So, be a little tiring going up. I do have some PCT treats in my pack. The area between Velma and Fontanillis Lakes is on the PCT. So we will see if I find any hikers. Hopefully I do. And looking for some amazing views today. We just entered the Desolation Wilderness, and right past the sign is this overlook of Lake Tahoe and Emerald Bay. Super pretty. Got the large granite boulders all around us. We're only a half mile into the hike, but the entire thing has been uphill. So calves are definitely a little bit on fire, but feeling good. So hopefully I'll get back up to a normal hiking feel here real soon. So onward and upward. The trail passes by our first lake, which is called Granite Lake. Super pretty. I have my cooling system is kicked into high gear. I am dripping sweat, and the front of my shirt's about 2/3 covered in sweat. So it's definitely a little warm today, and continue on. Maybe I'll go for a dip when we get to Fontanillis. We'll see. As we go up the trail, I keep thinking I've got the best view of the lake, and then we go a little bit further and around a little curve, and the view gets even better. Here, the small one down in front of us is Granite Lake that we passed a little bit ago. You can see how high we've climbed from it. And then Lake Tahoe behind it, which is our trailhead was just about at lake level. So, astonishing views, and we'll probably just keep getting better. The trail is very, very well worn, easy to follow. Amongst all these large granite boulders on the hillside, one of my favorite type of rock, I think. So, see you in a bit. All right, we are just shy of 2 miles in. Looks like 1.93 miles. We've gone a little over 1,400 feet of elevation. So it's a pretty solid climb. We're just cresting the top.
There'll be a view over to our right,
which is nice. Beautiful views.
under a different light, huh? There's a lookout over here. There we go. Okay.
And Steve tells us there's a little off trail jaunt that'll take us to a couple nice lookouts. So headed there now.
Really steep and deep pool.
So beautiful views. So from here, kind of easy to see why it's called the Desolation Wilderness. Got Eagle Lake down below us, and then fairly sheer cliff here, which separates from Lake Tahoe off in the distance.
If you go over this way, we'll see Lake Tahoe. So you can see they've had a lot of rockfall here, a lot of avalanches. One year I did the trail, there's this
Beautiful country. Reached the edge of Upper Velma Lake. Velma has an upper, a middle, and a lower. The PCT is just past this by about 0.2 miles. That's where I'm gonna head and hopefully find some hikers on the trail to pass out some trail magic. So that's what I'm off to now. Hopefully I'll find some. Right now I'm just going right along the edge of the lake with the occasional tree breaks. Lets me see clearly into it. Super pretty. I've come to a stream. We're walking right up alongside and gonna cross here in just a moment. It's like most of the mountain streams, super pretty. Do a little scrambling to find it. Oh, mighty pretty. All right, I've just passed the lake and I am at the PCT. See it a little better there. So we're gonna go about 0.4 ahead on the PCT northbound and go to Upper Velma or Middle Velma Lake and stop for some lunch. And then we'll turn around and from this junction, 0.8 back, so about 1.2 from where we have lunch, will take us back to Fontanillis Lake. And that whole section is on the PCT. From Fontanillis, we'll go a little bit more to Dix Lake. And from there, we will branch off of the PCT and kind of head back in a lollipop pattern towards where we came from. So really pray that here in the next hour or so I bump into a ton of thru hikers and get to pass out some goodies. It's an amazing feeling both to give and to receive it. This is Middle Fontanillis. It's a beautiful lake and I think a great spot for some lunch. And I can tell I need food because I think I just said Middle Fontanillis. It's Middle Velmas. So we've reached the junction of Dix Pass and the Bayview Trailhead junction. Dix Pass is straight up over there. I came over that last year on the PCT. Incredible pass to come over. And on the other side, we we can look back at Lake Tahoe. The views here are beautiful. And we are about 3/4 of the way through our loop back to the Bayview stick that'll take us to the trailhead. So making good time. We are arriving back at the parking lot and had a successful day. By the time I walk to the car, I'm going to be just about 12.5 miles. And let's see what the elevation was today. I'm not sure. I'll have to get that from Steve, but we did have a fairly good up and down elevation day. Probably 24, maybe 2,600 vertical feet for the hike. It's a warm day. I definitely was probably slightly overheated a bit and definitely a little dehydrated, but feeling good now. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you all later.